All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back, and it's an absolute honor today to sit down with the legend Danny Webb. Real quick, I just want to run down Danny's career real quick. At the age of 14, he started at the MotoGP Academy at the 125cc Spanish Championship. Then in Moto 3 in 27 and 2007. I don't know why I want to say 27. Um, went to road racing, made his debut at the Isle of Man TT in 2014 and the Macau. He won the International Road Racing Champion in 2018. Did some World Super Sport endurance racing with WEWC. I always want to say that backwards. 2025 BSB, and he was also in BSB here and there too, as well throughout your career. And then obviously the big one too, Daytona, right? 200 in March, which was absolutely brilliant. And then I ended up running into him again at Azra, which I had no idea. Him and um, Gary was there too as well. So it was good to see you there again, mate.
Yeah, it's good. It's the Azra thing was a great for us. It was great just to go there, and we had some things we wanted to try from the 200 in March, and we decided we were going to go back this year. So yeah, we went to Azra and tried a few things out. Of course, we switched to Dunlops as well, so that changed things up a lot for us. So we had to change a lot of things on the bike, but we finished there still wanting to do some things and try some things, but we come away from there quite happy with the progression we made.
I love it, man. I love it. And we'll talk about, Daytona and all that. But for those people that have no idea, because I tell people all the time when I'm walking in the paddock, I told you this. I was like, dude, that's Danny Webb, right? Uh, Start from your beginning of your journey, Danny. Where did it all begin for you?
Um, it just began as fun. My dad used to do club racing. He used to do sidecar racing, um, and solo racing as well. But so it began as fun, motocross. Then the foot and mouth come to the UK. So a friend of ours went to mini bike racing and said, "Why don't you have a go at this?" So that was when you could sort of go along, hire a bike, and see what you wanted to do. If you enjoyed it or not. And we enjoyed it, so we made the switch. I think we would have always made the switch because my dad. That's what my dad done. My dad done road racing, or circuit racing. So yeah, we made the switch, and then just one thing led to another. Really, I suppose I got on the road race bike. I was pretty quick, and yeah, just sort of snowballed from there.
I love it because that's the grassroots of racing, Danny. I talk about it all the time here in America, right? That's where it originates: is father to son or father to daughter, and hoping that their kid will find that same love and passion for those two wheels as they do, right? And then, I mean, your career has just been absolutely amazing. You've been everywhere. You've been all over the world racing in many championships. I mean, that's very fortunate. You don't there's not a lot of riders out there that have your kind of background.
No, I'm very lucky, as in, my of course everyone wants to make feel MotoGP world champion when they start out, and but I was very fortunate that my dad taught me that I've got to enjoy my racing as well, and he never put any pressure on me, and I've made a career out of it, which has been it's been a dream because we never, as a family, we just set out to do it for fun, just something to do as a family. We never dreamt of it being a career, and yeah, however many years later, I turned professional when I was 16, and I'm going on 35 now in March, and it's yeah, I'm still racing. I'd say semi-professional, because I'm not full time, but yeah, I'm still racing, and yeah, still enjoying it.
You're still in love with the sport.
Yeah, to be honest, I think when riders go through difficult times, you always sort of question it because you don't enjoy it as much. But luckily, I had a big realization in 2016, um, when I wasn't earning money from the sport. I had to go to work, and I got a normal job, and I was doing the 9 to 5, and that made me realize that I've got to make it work again. And that also made me realize how much I love doing it. So yeah, it sort of gave me the kick up the arse what I needed. I needed to enjoy my racing again, and try and start earning a bit of money from it and earn a living from it. Listen, unless you're Mark Marquez or Valentino Rossi or whoever, if you're not them, you're never going to be able to earn enough money to retire on motorcycle racing. But in my eyes, if you can earn a bit of a living out of it and be around something you love doing from year to year or from month to month, sometimes week to week, it's better than having a normal job.
110%. And if you do what you love, it's never work, right? It's just fun. That's the whole point of it. Is having fun. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of racers, they have full-time jobs.
Yeah, it's difficult. It is difficult, and that's why um, I've managed to kind of make a bit of a path for myself where I've worked within the industry as well. I'm not just a racer. I'm a coach. I want to be involved in the industry, and like I said a minute ago, we're never going to become millionaires from it. But if you can do something you enjoy doing and get by in life and make sure that your bills are paid and your family's looked after, um, then I believe that you've got a I prefer to live like that than have loads of money in the bank and be miserable.
Oh, 110%. 110%. I want to take it back to the early days of the MotoGP Academy, right? Like you said earlier, that's everybody's dream as soon as they get into racing is, I want to go to MotoGP. I want to be Mark Marquez and Valentino, right? Uh, was that always your aspiration too, as well? Obviously, to make it in MotoGP, or you just wanted to race?
Um, yeah, of course. As a kid, like I'm playing with my little motorbikes on the landing, and I'm acting out races that I'm racing against Valentino Rossi and Kenny Roberts and them kind of guys, and yeah, like that was always my dream. But did I think I would get to that paddock? No. And I was in the right place at the right time, and we got an opportunity which we didn't quite understand what it was to begin with. Um, and then when we flew over to Spain to sign a contract with Dorna, it was a big realization on how serious it was, and yeah, how much sacrifice you had to put into it. But I was very lucky with the opportunity I got. It was actually meant to be for my brother. Um, and we went down. So we knew, as a family, we knew Gary Taylor, the ex Suzuki MotoGP boss, really well because he lived 15 minutes from our place. Um, so he set up a meeting for my brother to with Alberto Hughes about this new academy which was being set up by Dorna. So we went down to Valencia, had a meeting. I went along for the ride, and Alberto Hughes turned around to my brother and said, "Sorry, you're going to be too big." Asked me my name, if I raced, where I finished in my championship. So I told him, and he offered me a ride there and there on the spot, right in front of my brother. So
Bro.
I felt bad for my brother, but you know, I, I said yes. But the problem is, again, we didn't realise how serious it was. I'd already signed a contract with the team that had won the British 125 Championship that year, because they wanted to sign me up to do the British Championship. So I'd already signed a contract with them, but then we sort of made it. We made it work, but I didn't actually end up racing in the UK in the end because we had to put, because I was so small, we had to put 24 kilos of weight on the bike at that time, and I had a few big crashes. Not The thing is, when you're putting that much weight onto a motorcycle which isn't designed for that, it's never going to work the correct way. So the team, the British team, were really good, and then ran me on Friday practices with no weight on. And again, Stuart Higgs was really good and allowed us to do that. And then we focused on the Spanish Championship with Dorna's academy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And of course, racing over out there in Spain in MotoGP tracks is completely different than the UK tracks.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a massive culture shock. We it was really difficult. I had to fly on my own at 13, be in Spain on my own. with a bunch of other kids. But then, you know, 13 going on 14, and they're taking you out for like 40, 50 kilometer cycles, and then in the afternoon you're doing supermoto riding, and it was a massive shock, you know, because at the end of the day we went racing to begin with for fun. And that was a massive shock, and it was a realization of how professional you had to be, and it taught me a lot, you know. It was difficult because I was away from my family, parents weren't allowed there, was put into a sports college, and yeah, it was tough, but it made me grow up very, very fast. And yeah, looking back on it now, there's probably there's probably no other way it could have been done, because my family wouldn't have been able to, you know, these opportunities were given to me. They, you know, all the costs were covered by them, and my family wouldn't have been able to give me them opportunities. So yeah, you know, I really appreciate what what Dawn have done for me, and UK One Racing Team also done for me, and everyone else who sort of have supported me along the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and then and you just said it. You know, it's hard for being away from your family at 13 years old. I mean, you can't even decide on what you want to eat, right? Because mom still cooks it, and you don't have to decide on anything. So it's a big culture shock. And now you show up, you're like, man, this is actual job. Like this is serious. Like I got to train every day. It's not the relax show up to a club event and roll call comes out and you're like, I got 5 minutes, I'm good, right? And you go out there and have fun. It's completely serious. And I'm sure it did make you grow up really, really quick.
Yeah, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. But yeah, it was great. You know, I had two Spanish teammates, two German, and an English teammate, and yeah, it was good because you get to make friends with different, you know, nationalities, and get to learn their cultures. And but yeah, it was cool. I made some really good friends along the way as well, which was great.
100%. And then, fast forward to that, obviously you made your TT debut, Danny. That is my favorite race in history and ever is the Isle of Man TT. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I remember the first time I seen it, we was in high school, and actually my buddy's uncle that I was over at his house, he was a huge fan. He's like, "Have you ever heard of the Isle of Man TT?" Because I went to AMA racing. It
Yeah,
was AMA back then. I was like, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Just in magazines, right? Uh, Duke Video, big shout out to Duke Video. I don't know if they're still around, but you got it from Duke and popped it into VCR, bro. And from that day moment, as soon as I seen it, I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me right now? This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And making your debut, is that something, an aspiration you always wanted to do?
no, I wouldn't say I always wanted to do it. I was actually I was against it, and then I had to. I was really good friends with Tim Reeves. He's a family friend. Sidecar. He's won Sidecar TT. I think he's won a couple of Sidecar TTs. Sidecar world champion 8, 9 times, however many times he is. So he was a family friend, and he went over to do it, and I'm like, oh man, like why is he doing that? But then I got invited over there to do a charity event one winter, and he uh, he took me round the track, and from when the first time we went down Bray Hill, I said, now I understand why. Now I know why you wanted to do it. And so from that day, I think that was 2009. From then, that's when I wanted to do it. And then come 2014, 2013, I was GPs under that Supersport 600 of 2013. And then, to be honest, I I was struggling to get a ride. I didn't have the funds behind me, and I always had the TT from that day in the back of my head. So over the winter, I made the call, and I thought, well, I'm just going to go and try it. You know, I want to do it. Um, so let's just give it a go. I might enjoy it, I might not enjoy it, but there's only one way to find out. So yeah, that's what led me to that. They was really supportive over there. The the learning process they have in place is fantastic, and I teamed up with Ryan Farquhar, who's an absolute legend, and yeah, we went from there really, and it was probably one of the best things I've ever done, and yeah, but it's really difficult until you've done it. You really don't understand how how much commitment them boys have got. And you get to know. I've got to know Michael Dunlop very well over the last few years, and what an absolute legend and down to earth person he is. He's just someone of his caliber. He's so down to earth. I think if you put someone of his caliber in our sport into another sport, say tennis or football or anything like that, I think they would be a completely different person. They'll be so arrogant, but Michael is just Michael, and yeah, but that they're all all the riders there are like that. They're normal human beings, and what they do around that place, lapping at 136 mile an hour is just incredible, and I've got so much respect for them. I would have never been able to gone to that level. Um, do I think there was more in me? Yes, I do. With probably more experience there, maybe a bit of a better bike setup, etc., etc. But I would never have been able to have gone to their level. Them guys are just absolute machines.
It's funny you say that because I say the same thing. And, you hear people often use the word aliens with Valentino Rossi and Marquez. They are, but the true aliens is Michael Dunlop, Peter Hickman, Carl Fogarty, Steve Hislop, all those guys that just go out there, Connor Cummings, Ian Hutchison. And to me, it's not the solo guys, it's the monkeys in the sidecar to me that just blows my mind over anybody else, Danny. I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me right now. That's absolutely insane. Question for you, man. What was it like first time going down Bray Hill?
I mean, the first night got cancelled, and then the second night I was sat on the road, and we was about to head off down Bray Hill, and I said to my godfather, who sort of he was there a lot of my career. He drove the motorhome and that in GPs, and he actually done the TT before. He done it once, and I turned around to him and I said, "Shit, I'm going to do this lap and just call it." I said I was absolutely shitting myself. Um, so I'd done the lap behind Johnny Barton, which was good because I'd spent a lot of time with Johnny throughout the winter learning it, and he was also a real good friend of my godfather's. So I'd done the lap behind Johnny. I come in and they couldn't get me back out there quick enough. I just wanted to get back out there straight away. I just wanted to get let loose on my own and just get going, and that was it. That was it. Your first year is just incredible, and you just learn all the time. I still believe everyone is always learning, and the track's always changing because it's a road track. It always changes throughout the winter. There's a bump appears here or a bump appears there, or something's happened in the winter. Maybe there's a car crash and there's a new bit of tarmac, or they've re-tarmac places, and so it's always changing. So I don't think you ever stop learning. But yeah, it was incredible, absolutely incredible experience. And I was used to the world of coming in and having a protein shake, and I remember the end of my first night, I got given a can of cider from Ryan and went, "You deserve that, mate." So yeah, it was a different. I'm used to making my drinks up and having my recovery drink, and my recovery drink there was a can of cider. So yeah, it was a different way of going racing for sure.
Oh, 100%. You talked about Dunlop. I met him at Daytona earlier this year at March. And I remember when I first seen him, I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me? There's Michael Dunlop. Like, I was nervous, and I don't get nervous going up to hardly anybody. But man, I was nervous as you. I was sweating. I was like, I I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. And that's me talking, right? So I was like, you know what? I've heard nothing but good things. I walked up to him. I was like, Dunlop, and we just had our conversation. And you know how he is. He's kind of short answers and smiles and takes a picture and off he goes, right? There he goes. Yeah, and then I met Harry Truelove and Matt Truelove out there too as well. I was happy to see a bunch of my BSB boys out there at Daytona 200. I was like, yes, let's go. I was so
Yeah.
hoping you guys were going to do 1, 2, and 3. That would have been proper mega.
Yeah, not quite, not quite. The your boys have got that down to a T at the minute, but yeah, I mean, we was competitive, like we was there or thereabouts, and um, but there's a lot to learn, you know. There, even though we was quick, there's still that's where you need the experience at Daytona just to sort of nail things down properly, and I mean that's why we're going back because we've sniffed a bit of a chance, and we know where we need to improve, and that's why we're going back. We want to come back with a watch on our wrist, that's for sure.
Dude, come back with that Rolex, boy. Be like, yeah, check this out. I love it, man. My boy Brandon Posh won it twice. So,
Yeah, I mean Brandon, I was teammates with Brandon end of
yep,
20.
Moto 3, wasn't it?
No, it was Super Sport
Oh, yeah.
when he rode the Triumph. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. The Triumph. Yeah.
Brandon, good lad, good lad.
Yep.
Far too talented to be sat on the sidelines, and I
100%.
hope he gets something sorted. You know, yeah, it's a shame, but you know that's a difficult thing about bike racing at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. And also real quick, you actually did. It just popped up in my memory. Pole position on the Miranda,
Mm,
right? Miranda bike. You
yeah,
did the pole position there. I forget what year, 2007 maybe.
no, that was the last year of 125s. It was 2011.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, that I mean the Mahindra brand were an Indian brand. I believe they've got stuff in America as well, and they had something to do with NASCAR at a certain time. And but yeah, you know the bike wasn't the best bike out there, but we we just had to take the opportunities when we could, and it was a damp Valencia, last ever two-stroke qualifying session. And yeah, I took the gamble and went on slicks and got the last ever two-stroke pole position in Grand Prix history. So I've actually been trying to inquire about that bike over the last few months. It'd be great to have that bike back in the UK, and with I wouldn't be able to afford to buy it, but I've got some friends who are bike collectors, so it would be nice to have it back with a friend of mine and just be able to look at it again. But yeah, like it's great. It was a great day that, and it was a great time to. I'm a two-stroke lover. I love two-stroke, so yeah, it's great to have that, and it will always stay there in the record book.
Always, and I was screaming to the top of my lungs when that happened too. Because again, I was already a fan, and I was like, "Yes, let's go!" Because I'm an underdog, right? The underdog, Miranda's underdog, and your season wasn't the best, and dude, you come out and just put it straight on pole, and I was like, "Dude, this is what I'm talking about. Let's go!" I loved it, man. I loved it, and then obviously the Macau, right? Never been to the Macau. It's always that's one on my bucket list too as well. Macau is absolutely different amongst all the other road races. Obviously, you got walls everywhere, and there are a lot of blind corners. Tell us your experience about the Macau.
Yeah, it was great. You know, I think to be honest, that was in my first year there. Was ended 2016. Um, I didn't I didn't have a bad TT, but it wasn't probably to what the team was expecting I could have done. And then I went and done a road race meeting at Froberg. Again, didn't go too bad. I had some fifths and sixths, but I was still quite new to a big bike as well. Because previously to this, I'd never rode a big bike on a circuit. I'd only ever done road racing on a big bike. So I was still trying to learn a big bike as well as learning road racing. So it it was taking me a little bit of time, and went to Macau, and they brought another rider in. I think to try and get a decent result, and I look, my result wasn't nothing to shout home about. I think I finished 13th or something like that, but I beat the rider they'd brought in. So wanted me to continue the year after, which was 17. We didn't go too bad, but we was riding at Macau on a stocker. But previously, I'd won the race at Froberg, um, and then went to Macau and finished ninth on a bog stock bike. And then 2018 went to Macau again. I rode the super. It was kind of a hybrid bike, so it was a stock chassis, stock swinging arm. Just had a bit of a faster motor in it, but we was running electronic suspension that year as well. But we'd rode it throughout the whole season in the IRRC, and I've won the championship on it. Not many people got along with electronic suspension, but I seemed to gel with it because at the beginning of the year I had a suspension guy, the guy who developed the suspension. He was with me for the first few rounds, and we got it set up quite nicely. So we got it in a good working area. So we won that. We won the IRRC championship on that, and then we went to Macau. And again, Macau's just different because you have Hickey, Rutter, you have all the big guys there who are at the TT, and they're all really quick, and their machinery is also very good. So we went there on the hybrid bike, and it was a good bike. I was comfortable on it. We qualified fifth, I think, and yeah, in the race we was battling for the podium. We was battling with Michael Rutter for a bit, and Martin Jessup on the factory Ducati on the PBM bike. And yeah, we finished fourth, and yeah, great, like a great way to finish at Macau. We did have plans to go back there the year after, but unfortunately, a few things happened just before Macau, and we didn't end up going, which was a shame because um, I felt like again there was probably more there, and I felt like we could have either won it or definitely been on the podium. But one thing led to another, and we didn't end up going. Um, and then that was kind of my stop to road racing as well. And the thing is, at that time I was thinking, me and my girlfriend, well, my wife, then girlfriend at the time, I was thinking more seriously about our relationship, uh, and it just come to a point where I thought I've got to stop road racing, just because it didn't sit right with what I wanted for the future in my personal life. Um, so yeah, that was kind of the end of my road race career, and then I got offered a deal to go back to World Supersport, which it was a great offer. I couldn't turn it down. I got to go racing with my girlfriend, which is now wife, and with one of my best friends, James Coseland. I managed to get him a job where he was managing it. So yeah, we got to go racing, and it was a great year. And at the end of the year, we were inside the top 10, qualified fifth. We was there or thereabouts with the likes of Locatelli was a sort of step ahead that year than everyone. But at the end of the year, we was in qualifying with point 0.3, point 0.4 slower than them, which is yeah, it's not too shabby. So yeah, it was a great year. And then unfortunately, the year after, I cracked bad pre-season and broke my wrist real bad, and there was loads of complications with it. And then that's when we went back to endurance racing.
And in 2018, you was the international road race champion, which is absolutely proper mega, man. And I'm a huge fan of endurance racing. I think it's especially for people that want to get a lot of seat time to develop their body position and all this other stuff, right? Endurance racing is the best because you'll have me, you, and let's say Peter Hickman. We're all three different sizes, different weights. So the bike's set up in this happy medium, not specifically for you or me, but we learn how to ride that bike still in anger and fast, right? At a consistent pace, which translate into more obviously seat time, but when you get on your bike that's set up just for you, it all helps out.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And I know a lot of older people are there, but it kind of suits a more experienced rider because look, we understand that the bike's not going to be set up for us, so it's we can feel comfortable on it, and that's where we like to get the bike to a point where everyone's comfortable on it. But you also have to understand that it's not always going to do what you want it to do, and you have to take a little step back so you can't be as on the edge as what you would normally be. But I think that's where the experience comes in, and you have to just um, take it as it comes. Really, not going out there and trying to break the lap record every lap. You have to be a lot more methodical and calmer about things. And to be honest, at the minute where I am, that suits my that suits my mindset. That suits um, yeah, where I'm at more in my personal life as well. And it still gives me something to focus on. I still have to train. I still have to keep fit. So yeah, it's great. It's perfect for me at the minute.
I love it, man. I love it. I actually have a question. My buddy Danny sent me a text message. He says you have to ask Danny about the classic Suzuki team and the Endurance Katana and the GSXR 1000.
Yeah, so I never actually rode their Katana, but I do a lot with classic Suzuki. So I first met them. Lee Johnson couldn't do the classic TT. Actually, I first met them at Derby. They do like a parade at Derby during Classic TT week. I met Steve Wheatman in a bar. Steve is the owner of Classic Suzuki, so I met him in a bar, having a couple of pints with him, and he said to me, "Oh, do you fancy coming up Derby tomorrow and having a go on one of Barry Sheen's bikes?" And I was like, "You've not got to ask me twice. I'm going home now." So yeah, I rode Barry's the first the, is the bike he won his first ever 500 Grand Prix on. And Barry, so I've known Barry's family, his sister and his brother-in-law, Paul Smart. I've known them very well throughout my life, but I never got to meet Barry, and Barry was always a hero of mine. Um, so to do that was just like absolute dream come true, and that started my relationship off with the Classic Suzuki, with Steve and Classic Suzuki, and then the year after Lee Johnson got injured, so Paul Phillips asked if I would want to ride Classic Suzuki's XR69. So I did at the Classic TT, and then again that just built mine and Steve's relationship, and ever since then we've had a relationship, and I ride their bikes consistently throughout the year. The year after that, he wanted someone to ride an RG 500 at the Classic TT, which we done, and the aim was to beat the fastest ever RG 500 lap. We was on course to do it, but unfortunately, it, it was a bike from 1987, and there was some teething problems in the race. We actually put a new radiator on it to try and eliminate some potential problems, but the new radiator actually caused the problem. So we never actually got a flying lap. But saying that, we still done 115 mile an hour on it from a standing start. So the potential was there, but we didn't quite do it. And then I stopped road racing, but I've still continued to do stuff with Classic Suzuki. I've rode Kenny Jr.'s 99 500. I've rode Kevin Schwantz's Pepsi Suzuki 89 Pepsi Suzuki. I've rode their K1 Classic Suzuki bike, their 750 S-Rad in South Africa. A number of things I've done, and the people I've met through Steve. He's done more for me in my career than I can even. There's nothing I can do in return for what he's given me, with the bikes I've been able to ride, with the people I've met, it's not a monetary thing. It's just an absolute honour to be able to ride them motorcycles, and be part of them. And he brought me to Daytona. He wanted to come to He wanted to do Daytona. He wanted to take part in Daytona. We was under he was happy if we'd have finished 20th. I wouldn't have been, but he just wanted to come and experience it, and the reason why we went so well was because of Steve been behind it and Classic Suzuki had been behind it, and the plan was only to do it 1 year, but because we went so well, there's unfinished business there. So we're coming back, and that's Classic Suzuki. I know it's not a classic bike, but just for them to put a motorcycle like that out there, it speaks volumes because they can put a fantastic motorcycle together in modern days, but also the classic stuff as well. Steve is the reason why we're seeing these 1999, 89, 79, even older than that, these old classic Suzuki's still running and in fantastic condition. He's the reason why we're seeing Kevin Swamp still riding his old motorcycles, because Steve is there, he's looking after them, he's maintaining them, along with Nathan as well, and Paul, Paul the other mechanic, and they're just I think not for what they've just done for me, but what they're still doing for the sport, and keeping that nostalgia there is just it's absolutely it's incredible. And again, Kenny Jr. is one of my heroes because um, through Gary Taylor, who was running this factory Suzuki team at the time, we used to get some of Kenny's. He'd give us one of Kenny's helmets, and then so he was one of my heroes growing up as well. And then he had to ride. I rode his bike a couple of years ago at Assen, his '99 bike. I rode around Assen with Kevin Swans, and my wife's got a video of me and Kevin wheeling across the line together. And it's just like, take my whole career away from it and the results I've had away from it. That is probably one of the most special moments I've ever had in my career, because Kevin, I grew up watching. I was born in '91, but I grew up watching videotapes of Kevin winning races, wheeling, his unique style, his unique personality, and then I was at Assen with him, and then the Saturday night I was in the bar having a beer with him. It's just like that for me is brought more to my career than anything else.
Dude, I love it, dude. It's like, dude, that's exactly how I feel sitting down in the chair with you right now, and meeting Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop. You guys have been my heroes from a young age, watching you guys race, and it's just to finally meet you guys and see how cool it is. It's like, am I living right now? Is this actually happening right this second? Right? It's, dude, Danny, I feel you. It's motorcycles, man, they bring us on this journey and path that's just the most proper mega journey in life, right? We meet the most amazing people, and you get to do things otherwise you never dreamed of doing, like riding Barry Sheen's 500. Like, that's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and it's there's not many people in the world which would have that sort of motorcycle and let other people ride them. So
Facts.
yeah, it's incredible. So if you're at Daytona in March, you should come and shake Steve's hand, because yeah, he's an absolute legend.
Well, I would definitely see you there, March, and I'm definitely going to shake Steve's hand for sure. I'm really looking forward to it, man. And then, yeah, I want to, Cadwell's my favorite track, so I just want to ask you real quick, what's your impressions of Cadwell? Like the first time coming up that mountain jump, because I remember when I sat there and the first time Josh Brooks went out in anger and he hit that mountain course. Danny, I was standing there on the other side because I was allowed to walk on the other cross. So I was on the inside of it. And I was standing there, dude, with my Insta 360 going, holy shit, are you kidding me right now? Like, my mind was just blown.
Yeah, it's a go kart track, isn't it? It's incredible how them boys ride around that place in anger. Uh, it's My relationship with Cadwell's never been great. Never had much luck there. Never gone well there. But it's a unique track. It's special, that's for sure. And to see what them boys do around there, and people like Johnny Ray used to be good over the mountain as well. Um, yeah, that's it's a spectacular place, and I would say if you're gonna go to any BSB, that's probably one of the ones to go to because it's so unique, it's so spectacular, it's different. It's a great atmosphere there every year as well. So yeah, it's definitely one to come to.
Yeah, usually when I rate racetracks by a fan standpoint and somebody that stays in the paddock all the time like me, right? If I when I go to races, I'm just in the paddock because I've been to a lot of them and I've walked around the tracks. But Cadwell's one of those tracks. It's like New Jersey or VIR, which means it's a smaller track and you really don't need a bicycle or something to really get around everywhere. Everything's easy accessible, accessible, and you don't have to walk very far. Somewhere like Daytona, you got to have something to get around on, unless you're in the pits, right? If you want to see the track, you got to have something. Road America is the same way. Road Atlanta is the same way. You got to have either a scooter or a little pit bike just to see everything. Otherwise, you're gonna stay in one spot because it's so big. But yeah, Cadwell. And the thing that I loved about it was, I mean, you're going to meet everybody, and it's an open paddock, just like Moto America. That's another thing I love about BSB. You could literally walk up to anybody and meet all your heroes and people you've always looked up to. I remember meeting Ryan Vickers, and I was standing there. I was like, "No way, there's Ryan Vickers!" And I walk up to him. We ended up having the same sunglasses, the same color. He says, "Nice sunglasses, mate." I said, "I see you got good taste, my friend." And we both just started laughing, dude. Yeah, it was yeah, again, best weekend of my life. I actually got Craig O'Harris. He's out there in the UK. He says, ask Danny about his experience with people talking different languages and teams and at a test day.
Yeah, different languages, different teams. Yeah, it's something you've got to get used to, and you get to learn to communicate in that sort of way. So sometimes when they say one thing, they actually mean another, which I suppose in my career I've got used to that. But I remember one team, the Andalusian team I rode for, the team boss did not speak a word of English, and I mean not a word. And I actually learned quite a bit of Spanish that year to communicate with him, and then we got along really well. We actually we could speak more. We could have a full blown conversation after we'd had a few Jack Daniels and Cokes at the bar on a Sunday night. But yeah, we could have a full blown conversation. But the next day when I woke up, I don't know if it was the hangover or the drink, but I couldn't remember what it was about. Um, but yeah, you, you, that's one of the that's one of the real difficult things in the paddock is understanding the language, and the culture as well, the culture of people, because that's uh, that's the most difficult thing. Is because I remember when we first went to Spain when I was 14, the Alberto Hughes was wondering why we wasn't all performing, and my dad never gets involved, but the only time he got involved was he turned around and said, maybe it's because you guys are going to eat at 10 o'clock with them, and we used to eating at 6 o'clock, like, and being in bed by 9 o'clock. So maybe they're all just that tired; they've got no energy. So they did actually change it. We started eating earlier, which is difficult in Spain to eat before 8 o'clock. But they changed it, and we started eating earlier and get to bed earlier, and that helped us a lot because it's just a different way, just a different way of life. But yes, it's been cool. Different languages, different personalities, different ways of life. I went to India and that was just a massive culture shock. I hated it to begin with, but after a few days, I got used to it, and I thought, you know what, this isn't so bad. So yeah, it's not. I appreciate all the opportunities I've been given, and I've been lucky enough to explore the majority of paddocks within the motorcycle industry.
100%, 100%. Which brings us all the way up to, man. You created the Paddock Network, which is absolutely amazing. I think, man. When I heard you did that, I was like, "Oh, why didn't nobody think? Why didn't I think of this? Why didn't nobody else think of this before, dude? Brilliant idea. And how did you come up with that?"
Yeah, so basically, me and Taylor McKenzie have we've got quite close. I've moved house within the last year, and I've moved 5 minutes from Taylor, so we go to the same gym. And and we were talking about what we could possibly do as a business to. At the minute, I'm doing like 10 different jobs just to try and earn a living, and I want to try and narrow that down to just a couple. So that was one of the, and he's the same. He's a new dad, and we're in a similar position. So, and but it wasn't just that. Throughout the year, one time a Classic Suzuki, we were struggling to get mechanics for the Classic Endurance race, and then for Daytona for Azra, I wanted a data guy because I felt like that's what could move us on a bit further. And again, during the season, we was struggling. I was struggling to find. I know a lot of people. I don't want to sound big headed, but I know a lot of people in the industry, and I was struggling to find people. And I kept thinking like we need something where we can have there needs to be job advertised, or we need like a CV system where we can look through CVs and then go to people to try and offer them a job, or vice versa. So when me and Taylor were talking, I said, why don't we do like not a job agency, 'cause it's not a job agency, because we don't take percentages of what people are earning, but it's like a job advertisement place. So um, I said, I said, do you think it could work? I said, from what I know, there's not no one doing it. I think there's some people in the car world doing it, but no one in our industry. So, and he was like, no, 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 I don't think it'll work. Anyway, about an hour later, he was on the phone again, and we thought, yeah, let's give it a go. So yeah, we got it set up and went from there. So yeah, we created the Paddock network, and it's been great. You know, we're just about to go into the next phase of things now. We've had a great response, but now it's going into the next phase where the fit we'll start introducing the fees. But again, we want to make it affordable for people because at the end of the day, motorcycle racing isn't as rich as car racing. So you know we've got to accommodate for the motorcycle racing market, and so yeah, that's the plan. So within the next month or so, just keep your eyes out. But there's more. There's more to come from it as well. You know, we're going to be adding to the website as we go, and we don't want it just to be to one paddock. So we don't want it just to be to BSB. We want it to be BSB, Motor America, World Superbike, MotoGP, any paddock in any country, Asia Road Race Championship. We want it to be as far as we can spread it, because um, I believe there's so many opportunities out there for people who want to work in the paddock, not just mechanics, data guys, crew chiefs, blah 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 blah. You know, there's medics, say the TT, marshals. You know, it's always a struggle to get marshals for the TT, videographers, you name it. Any job you can think of in the paddock, it's for everyone to go there to try and find a job. So it's not just about finding mechanics job or technical staff job. It's literally whatever job you can think of. It's you know, hopefully we'll get teams and organisations upload jobs to the website. So you know, people who don't know people in the paddock but might have a great skill set have an opportunity to apply for a job and then get involved in the paddock and start a career for himself in the paddock and you know, do something they love doing and earn a living out of something they love doing.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Again, you know, I get asked the question, excuse me, a question a lot out here is, how do I get a job in the paddock? I'm like, dude, just show up, just start making friends with people and say, hey, is there anything I can do to help out? And then one thing might lead to another, and you're in, right? There's no like set path, but you created this set path, and it's brilliant, especially to open it up for everybody around the world, Moto America, World Superbike, because everybody needs help, right? I mean, the
Well,
sport is
yeah,
super
and look, so it's always a difficult point, isn't it? You know, trying to discussion discussing wages or what you want paying, or if you need paying or if you don't need paying. It's always a difficult it's always a difficult point to get across. But through the Paddock network, you know, that can be discussed professionally from a professional dashboard, not just not just you know turning up, and so everyone knows where they stand from the beginning. And yeah, again, you know, we want to make it uh, we want to make it accessible, and we also want to get more riders involved and teams involved, because again, it could generate opportunity for young riders or old riders or whoever, you know, to be able to get an opportunity they might not ever get, because they might not know the right person, or they might not, you know, that at least that way they get the contact to the correct person in the team or in the organization or in the company. So yeah, you know, we have big plans, and we've had a really good response from a lot of um, big organisations, and also companies. So hopefully, uh, you know, hopefully we can get the ball rolling and get them all involved, and get them up on the website, and yeah, hopefully it can generate some jobs for some people.
I think it's a very important puzzle piece to our beautiful circus, is what I always call it. It's a beautiful circus, right? And every puzzle piece is just as important as all the other puzzle pieces to make up the full circus, right? This is, and again, you're creating a path and a doorway, a direct path for people to get jobs within the paddock or whatever it is, corner marshal workers, a cook, right? Whatever
Yeah,
it is, yeah. I mean, it opens up the doors, and who knows what will come of it. I think it's absolutely brilliant, dude. Nothing but the utmost respect, man. And I feel like it's going to take off in more ways than you could ever dreamed it was.
no, thank you very much. You know, we've had, you know, SMR, Shawmere Racing, they've put jobs up for data guys, and, you know, they've just won the World Superbike Championship. You know, Honda Racing UK, they need a workshop manager. Peter Hickman needs a workshop manager, and you know, so it's there's already some great opportunities on there, but obviously we want it to be even bigger than that, and you know, we've probably only touched on not even a percent of the paddock, so or the paddocks. So yeah, the idea is to try and get into as many paddocks as possible, and make that the hub for everyone to go to try and get involved and yeah, make a career for himself.
I love it, man. If there's any way I could help out, man, please let me know. I'll share it here in America. I'll do whatever it takes to help you get this thing really take off and be overwhelming, because it's going to be very successful, Danny. 110%.
Thank you, appreciate it.
No problem, bro. I want to talk about, you launched the Stanford Racing RNG Moto 4 British Cup team with Henry McCartney, which I think is brilliant, man. Giving back to the sport. Without the future youth in our sport, Danny, we have no sport.
Yeah, so I started training kids probably 3 4 years ago now, and um, started training them, not looking at anything really in the future, and we took a bit of a shine to a few of them, probably 7 or 8 of them, and then we started a mini bike team, and then my daughter was born, so we sort of took a bit of a back step, but we didn't. We always supported the riders we sort of took under our wing and continued to schools and stuff like that, but just took a little bit of a backward step and didn't have the mini bike team. But Henry is the oldest one, and next year, well, he's just turned 14, so he's old enough to do the the Motor 4 Talent Cup. And last year, I got to meet Kevin from Stanford Industrial Concreting, and again, he's a bike enthusiast. He loves motorcycle racing, and yeah, we got talking about building a team, and we've put it together, and we've we've managed to create a team, and a great opportunity for first Henry. So it'll be Henry first, and then from 2027 we can have one rider come in each year from the riders we already have. With their age gap, we can have one come in each year. So yeah, we've you know Kevin's been great, and he really has put a great opportunity together for the kids, and also for the families, because it's reducing their costs heavily. So they're not having to spend a fortune to have experts around them. Myself, we've got a data guy, a mechanic, professional people, but also alongside that, we're working with Wolverhampton Uni, who have a car racing team. So that's a motorsport heavy uni, and so we're going to have a junior data guy and a junior mechanic as well. So then we'll build the team for a 2-man team for the year after with them guys, and then again, hopefully they can, after that, hopefully they can blossom and progress into the sport and make a career for himself in the sport. So we'll be bringing young engineers and that through our team, as well as young riders. So yeah, thanks to Kevin, because none of this would be possible without him, and it's the start of something really good. And also, Kevin supports George Halliday, who races at the Isle of Man TT. So yeah, it's going to be a busy year, but yeah, it's great. It's great. It's really exciting.
Dude, congratulations, Danny. Dude, you're an absolute legend, bro. Your career has been absolutely amazing, and it's not over yet. It's I feel like it's kind of still in the beginning process, if so to speak, right? You've opened up all these doors and avenues throughout our industry, and it's truly amazing. It really is. Bro, Daytona 2026. I will see you there, mate. It's going to be awesome. I want to transition and kind of ask you a couple personal questions before we end this podcast. And the first one I want to ask you is, what's your best hire car story?
Well, I mean, there's been a couple.
I'm sure.
I shouldn't really say one, because it was a bit no, it wasn't too. We lost the bumper and whatnot, and jumped a roundabout. But I would probably say the best one was, we was in Qatar, and it was 2008. I had an American teammate. I don't know if you know. You probably would have heard of him, Stevie Bonzi.
Yep.
So me and Stevie were just like he was like a brother to me. We got along like a house on fire, and then but we was like the naughty boys, and then Hugo Vandenberg was our teammate as well. But we had like a minder, but we was on the way to the track, and this was the first night race. So we was on the way to the track, and we done a test. It was during testing, so we was there the week before. Anyway, we're going around the roundabout outside the track as fast as we possibly can. It was like a half a kilometre just down from the track, and we're going around it as fast as we possibly can. Anyway, we've come off the roundabout, and Stevie's decided to yank the handbrake up on his hire car, and then we've just gone flying into the central reservation, wheels bouncing down the road. We've managed to get the car back across and just park it on the desert. We've got out, examined the damage, and thought, yeah, this isn't going anywhere. So walked into the paddock, absolutely dripping wet with sweat, and everyone's coming up to us, telling us about this abandoned hire car outside the track. We're playing dumb, like, oh, I don't know anything about it. We didn't see it. It must have happened after. Anyway, luckily we was like, I think I was second, Stevie was fifth. So we got to the end of the night, and then we decided to break the news to the team manager. Luckily, we had a decent result that day, so it softened the blow a bit. But then the next morning, we've come down to the hotel lobby to the minder being arrested and being escorted out the hotel, because when they scanned his passport because he went and went to the hire car company, and they had to report it as an accident, blah, 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 blah. They scanned his passport, and it looked like he'd been in the country for 2 years, because the scan didn't come through clear enough. So it looked like he'd been there from 2006. So he's then got arrested and spent 4, 5, 6 hours in a cell in Qatar. And me and Stevie are just there living the best life, like 16, 17-year-olds, just having a ball, traveling the world. And and then we're getting our minor into all sorts of trouble. So yeah, that was probably the best hire car story. To be fair, that was probably the most enjoyable year I had in Grand Prix with Stevie, and we made so many good memories. And yeah, he was again probably the most talented rider I've ever come across. He was so talented. He had so much raw talent, and but yeah, great lad, great. It was yeah, great year that year.
I love it. I love it. Tell us something we don't know about Danny Webb.
Um, I don't know really. I don't know. I suppose there's not really much. There's not really much. I mean, just I'm a normal person. I just go, from day to day and live my life. I can't really. No, there's nothing really anyone doesn't really know about me. I don't really know. You're probably better off asking me a question and seeing
Okay.
if I can answer it.
That's hilarious. All right. Obviously, let me ask you this. What's your worst habit? Mine is procrastination sometimes. Like I procrastinate on certain things like laundry. I hate doing laundry, right? So I'll wait till it gets like this big and then I'm spending all day doing nothing but laundry, right? So that's one of
Yeah,
mine.
probably my worst habit is being impatient. I'm so impatient. I have to do something there and then. My phone goes off. I have to pick it up and reply straight away. I can't. I'm not very. I'm not very good at relaxing, which sometimes I should do. But yeah, it's probably that. I'm very impatient.
Me and you're going out to the bar. We're having a pint. What's our go-to karaoke song?
Probably. Cheer up, sleepy dream. Do you know that? By the one. Do you know that song? I
No,
forgot.
not off the top of my head.
By the monkeys. It's
Oh
called.
yes, yes, yes. The
Yeah,
monkeys. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Man, I ain't
yeah,
heard the monkeys in a long time. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah, dude. So
Cheer up, sleepy dream.
yeah,
That
yeah. There
that
you
song. Yeah,
go. All right. So
probably that one.
I have an idea that this year in 2026, I'm gonna buy a little karaoke machine. I'm gonna carry around the paddock and I'm gonna go up to riders and I'm gonna say, dude, let's do a quick karaoke song together, right? Just like one or two verses. Just have fun with it. Just do something different. I think that would be a lot of fun. Walking around Daytona with a little karaoke machine, coming up to Danny Webb, going, "You ready to do the monkey song?" And
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
have fun with it.
yeah.
Uh,
I'll be up for that.
yeah, we'll do it. We'll definitely make that happen. Do you listen to any audiobooks?
Um, no, not really. Well, I can't really read. I'm not very good at reading. Um, but yeah, I mean, I, I, oh, sorry, there is something people don't know about me. I listen to podcasts. So me and my wife delivered. I was listening to podcasts quite a lot to learn how to deliver a baby. Um, so me and my wife delivered our baby by ourselves with no medical intervention or anything. So yeah, I delivered my own baby, which is quite cool. So yeah, that's what no, not many people know. A few close people know um, about it, but yeah, that's I delivered my own baby. Me, my wife, and my wife's sister, and yeah, that was about it. So I was listening to podcasts a lot about that. What I have to do when we see danger, when we don't see danger, what's normal, what's not normal, etc., etc. So I was on that for about 6 months, and it worked. So yeah, it's best moment of my life, catching my daughter. Yeah, the that's probably the highlight of my life. Doing that is so special, and if we were to have another one, we'd probably do it that way again because it was just yeah, so special.
I love it, man. I'm a dad. My son, his name's Hayden Rossi after Nikki Hayden Valentino. He's 13 going on 30. He's got a mouth on him now, right? I remember, listen, when my son was born, it was me, my wife, and my wife's best friend. And I'm the only one in the delivery room, just absolutely free. I'm as white as this shirt right here. Got a washcloth. It's supposed to be on my wife. I'm wiping my own face. I'm like, are you okay? I'm okay. That's what I kept saying. I'm okay. I'm all right over here. And they're like, dude, calm down. Dude, shit got real quick, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then when you see the baby come out, you know your son or daughter, it's like this switch flips on inside you that you never knew was there before, and you look at the world different, you look at everything different, and it's man, it's the best part of life is having a
yeah,
kid,
exactly.
man. There is nothing like it in the world. Not racing, not going to races, not none of that. It's your kids,
Yeah,
100%.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, and that's again, it's nice. We'll be there in Daytona with my wife and daughter, so it's special. It's special to have them there, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Well, listen, man, we've been over this a little bit over hour. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I do have one more question that I want to ask you before we end this podcast, man. Is Danny Webb? Your leathers are hung up. You're retired. The Paddock Network's done took off. It's booming. Stanford Racing, the Moto 4 British Comp is absolutely amazing. But you are in Moto America and you have your own Moto America team. Okay, Superbike class, what manufacturer motorcycle would you have, and who are the two current riders in Moto America you put on your bikes?
Oh, um, that's a difficult one. Um, I would probably, I love, I love Suzuki's. Um, yeah, I'll probably have Suzuki's. Um, and I would probably have Cambubio, just because, again, spent a bit of time with him. Um, Cam and JD Beach.
Yep,
Um,
Jiggy Dog.
yeah, yeah, just because I spent a bit of time with them in the paddock, and they're cool guys. Really get along with them. So, uh, yeah, I'll probably have them. Yeah,
There you go, man. I love it. I love it. Well, Danny, I mean, you definitely gonna have to sit back down in the future and do a part two. Um, I had a proper mega time. Thank you so much for coming on here. I'm gonna let you end the podcast by giving all your shout outs and where people can find you, the Paddock Network. I'll put it out there on all my social medias too, so people can
brilliant,
see it and log into it. I'll put the Stanford, Moto 4 British Cup, all that out there too as well. Dude, I
brilliant,
appreciate it, man. If it wasn't for everybody that hits that like and subscribe and people watching this and people like Danny and everybody coming on here, I wouldn't be able to do this. So it's nothing but love to each and every single one of you out there. Again, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sitting here. So thank you so much. Danny, tell everybody where they can find you online, where they can get in touch with you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you're probably better off getting in touch with me on Instagram, Danny Webb Racing 99. Yeah, follow the Paddock Network as well. That's on Instagram. Or go and sign up, put your CV on, or advertise a job at the paddocknetwork.com. Yeah, feel free to send me a message, and yeah, hopefully see you all soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll see you at Daytona in March, my friend, for sure. And yeah, I appreciate it, man. Give everybody hugs for me, and I'll see you soon, Danny.
Brilliant. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers. Bye
Cheers.
bye.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.